Tonight on Top Gear, a small car from Alfa Romeo, the 147. A whole stack of new cars from the Geneva show. And Formula One cars for everyone. If you love cars, you really want to love Alfa Romeo. What a badge! What a heritage! And what a tragedy that they came so perilously close to throwing it all away. Dodgy image, dodgy cars. I remember a time when people just didn't want to know. Not anymore. The comeback has been absolutely spectacular, worthy of any great sporting name. First came the 156. Next, it was the turn of the 166. And now they're going for the maximum break with the optimistically titled 147. Snooker's magical top score. And right away the 147 is off to a very convincing start. Why? Well, this Italian job is a pretty car. Even if the last time we saw scalloped sides like this on a hatchback, they were gracing the Austin Maestro. The 147's detailing is sublime, only Jennifer Lopez has a more shapely backside, and at the front, it's sharp, distinctive, and suggests speed and passion, even when it's standing still. A neat trick that works just as well in Manchester as it does in Milan. And yet, with the scent of an early victory in its nostril, drive the 147 and its game plan begins to go a bit wonky. An Alfa Romeo should flood your senses, bombard you with sensations. But around town, this 1.6-litre Lusso version feels oddly lumpy and grumpy and, well, hardly the blithe spirit that I was expecting. It's too highly strung. Drive it casually or lazily and the 147 punishes you with an uncomfortable learner-driver-style jerkiness. There's a strange springiness to its controls, and this is not a gear change that enjoys being hurried. Terrifically direct steering goes some way towards compensating, but even here, there's a downside. The 147 has the turning circle of an oil tanker and pretty poor over-your-shoulder rear visibility. So while you might look like a learner driver in one of these cars, you certainly wouldn't want to be one. Look at that, that is pathetic. But the faster you go, the more the 147 comes alive. It corners beautifully, grips tenaciously at the front, while the back end helps you around without stepping out. Unfortunately though, it's perky rather than seriously quick. The solution? Why crank up the stereo? A CD player comes as standard on the Lusso version, and just sit back and enjoy the Alfa Romeo's cabin. Comfortable shapely seats, a proper driving position at last, big retro-coiled instruments in the finest Alfa Romeo tradition, with the gauges written in Italian, bella. It's a nice touch, as is the storage box in the middle of the dash here. Cup holder, well, we all need cup holders, don't we? Overall, there's a spirit and a panache to the Alfa's cabin that the more polished Volkswagen Golf and the plain messy Ford Focus simply don't have, mind you. There's an evil spirit of crappy plastics at large in here as well. The indicator stalk has all the sturdiness of a breadstick. And look at this. Look at the way these decals are just peeling off the top of the gear lever here. This car's done 2,799 miles. What's it going to be like when it's done 50,000? But there's nothing flaky about the 147 safety features. Traction control, electronic brake distribution, ABS, it's all here. Because in the premium hatch sector, you can't afford to be without it. There are, however, just two engine choices. The 1.6-litre, which starts at just under 13 grand, that's good value. And the highly praised 2-litre Sally-Speed, which rises to just over 17 grand. I could get a 156 for that sort of money. The Alfa Romeo 147 is Jimmy White to the Volkswagen Golf Steve Davis. A slightly uneven performer given to frustrating flashes of genius. If you value character above consistency, you won't be disappointed, and it is easily the best small Alfa since the quite brilliant little Alfa Sud. But maximum brake? Damn.
What's the most important thing that happened in the car world today? The Geneva Motor Show opened for business. It may be a glamorous event in a glamorous city, but it's the everyday cars that are most important here. Things like Peugeot's 306 replacement, you guessed it, the 307. While Fiat revealed the successor to the Brava and Bravo, the Stilo, a 5-door for families and a sharper-looking 3-door that should attract the enthusiasts, although they were too busy getting bowled over by the new entry-level Mini, the Mini One. Renault's renaissance is continued by the Velsatis, their new top-of-the-range luxury car that promises unrivaled levels of comfort and space, just like you'd get with the long-wheelbase Mercedes A-Class for people who like their small cars big. This little limo is roomier than an S-Class and was a huge hit with the assembled Swiss bankers. And talking of making things bigger, Lexus unveiled their new IS300, but don't think this is the estate version. It's a sport cross, of course. The Montreux hints at what Skoda's big car will look like, while Volvo had not one, not two, but 3 concepts. The ACC for adventurous types, the SCC for the safety conscious, and the PCC for those with BHP on the brain. While Vauxhall have really let their hair down with the Astra Extreme, but the maddest thing isn't its 4-litre V8, nor its gull-wing doors, nor its 190-mile-an-hour top speed. No, the maddest thing is that they're not going to build it. But our favourite concept of all is Volkswagen's microbus. This isn't an acid flashback, it's for real, man. The return of the V-dub camper van. Hippies and surfers will never have had it so good, with a V6 engine, 7 TV screens and oodles of Californian cool. Nissan will soon be more famous for their muscles than their micras. 260 horsepower and rear-wheel drive mark the return of the Z-Car. We're also seeing the return of the Fast Ford. This sporty Mondeo may still be a concept, but the hunky-looking rally-inspired Focus RS is just around the corner, where it'll no doubt bump into the VTEC-powered Honda Civic Type R and Mitsubishi's eagerly awaited Evo 7, due on sale in the UK in September.
Next up from Top Gear, Formula One for every man and woman. Buying a used 3 Series, Britain's favourite BMW. And half petrol, half electric, the hybrids have arrived.
This Sunday in Australia, 22 cars will fire off the grid into the first corner of a new F1 season. And at that precise moment, millions of people across the world will all be thinking exactly the same thing.
Wish I could have a go at that.
Well, you know, you can, sort of. And we've recruited Andrea and Dave Diamond to try out what's on offer and get as close as possible to the F1 experience. Oh, and did I mention that these two are rather keen on F1?
We are a bit mad on Formula One. We've been the only couple to ever get married at Silverstone.
I give you this ring.
I give you this ring.
As a token of our marriage.
As a token of our marriage.
And you couldn't hear our vows for sound of the Formula One cars going flying past. I think I said no, but they didn't quite catch it because of the noise. But here we are, I'm here and I'm Mrs Diamond now. Resulting in this little one that we call Jordan after the Jordan Formula One team.
These two definitely need help to live out their Formula One dream. So, what's on offer? Karting is probably the best way to get to grips with a bit of combat racing. Indeed, most F1 drivers learned their trade in these pocket rockets. There are so many kart tracks around that wherever you live, you won't have to travel far to find one. And the machines are pretty high-tech these days.
Here at Daytona in Manchester, their karts are fitted with electronic timing gear. Behind the steering wheel is an LCD screen that constantly displays your lap time and your race position. If you're found behaving badly, you'll receive a 10-second penalty in the sin bin. All high-tech stuff, but will Andrea and Dave like it?
Wee-haw! Off we go. Oh, been overtaken. Oh, by 2.
Concentrate.
Right, Andrea. Concentrate.
29-second lap.
Oh, just been overtaken. And spun it. You feel like you're doing 100 mile an hour because your backside's only an inch off the floor.
The 1-to-1 and, you know, trying to battle it out around the corners was good. Tell you what, it's tough on the old arms. Not doing bad for a beginner.
Spending more time going sideways than forwards. The readout's brilliant because, you know, you cross the line, you look at your lap time, you think, I want to better that. So you're always sort of pushing. Getting better, 26.85. Your position, you can see the guy in front and you want to get past and see that position sort of go from 5 to 4. So to 1. In your dreams. And that's it. I still finished down in 9th.
Karting's all very well for a bit of fun, but you won't be too surprised when I tell you that F1 cars go a little bit quicker. A few of the F1 teams have now built two-seaters, but these cars cost a bomb to run and rides are by invitation only, meaning it's an experience most people just won't get, ever.
But book a day here at Palmer Sport in Bedfordshire and there's a lovely F1 style surprise waiting for you at the end of the day. For under £200, you'll start off in a kart, progress to a Caterham, and then comes the surprise, a super ride in a Formula Palmer Audi. And it really is a super ride.
This is a single-seater racer for two, and as far as we know, it's the only ride of its kind you can actually buy. OK, it's not quite an F1 car, but with a professional racing driver at the helm, the experience should get pretty close. We asked Andrea to try this out for us and give us a calm and collected appraisal of her ride, but
I can't say anything for laughing. Oh, yes! Oh, my God. Slow, yeah, please, slow. Oh, my God.
How was that?
That was awesome. Oh my God, my neck was all over. You can feel the power, but you stop it. It's, I can see why they have to be fit. Not my neck. I hope I didn't swear. Sorry, Mum.
the chance to move one seat forward and actually drive an F1 car has been available for a couple of years now, as I found out when I went to Saint-Tropez. But you have to sell your children to pay for it. Luckily, we found something a little closer to home and a little more affordable for the diamonds.
OK, it may not have the glamour of Saint-Tropez or Monaco or even Silverstone, but here at Mallory Park in Leicestershire, £1,000 will buy you 8 glorious laps in this. A late 80s Cosworth V8-powered Tyrrell Formula One car.
Of course, you can't jump in and screech off. First, you're driven around in a Mondeo by an instructor. Then you drive him in a Ferrari. Then it's on to a Vauxhall Lotus single-seater before you don your helmet, get strapped in, and when they start the engine, you'll wonder if you should have stayed at home. It weighs just 640 kilos and produces 585 bhp.
What the hell am I doing?
Which, translated into English, means it'll scare the knickers off you. It may not be state-of-the-art F1 technology, but unless you're called Mika, Michael or Jensen, you're not going to tell the difference once you're behind the wheel. The idea is to start slowly, and then when you've got over the initial shock of sitting on a bomb...
Straight, floor it!
Oh, lusty gentlemen!
Also, dream come true, this.
Oh, Dave, how do you feel?
I gotta get myself one of these. It is awesome. When you start up, it's just the noise that hits you. You just pull out and you get on the, took it easy around the first corner and got it on the back straight there and just floored it. It's just like, kicking the pants. It's absolutely brilliant. And then you come up to the part where you got a break and you think, I don't want to.
I want more.
I want more. I want a longer straight.
Would you recommend it to anyone?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely the best adrenaline rush ever.
Of course, the only way most of us can get close to Formula One is to visit Silverstone for the Grand Prix. But wouldn't it be nice to go to a Grand Prix where the weather is warmer, where there's a little less mud? Somewhere like, I don't know, Malaysia.
Well, funnily enough, our Top Gear Comic Relief competition gives you the chance to win a week-long luxury holiday for two in Malaysia, including VIP tickets to the Malaysian Grand Prix. All you have to do is answer this question. Who won the first Malaysian Grand Prix in 1999? Was it A. Eddie Irvine, B. Michael Schumacher, or C. Mika Häkkinen? To enter, you must be over 18 and be able to depart on Thursday, March the 15th, returning on Friday the 23rd. If you think you know the answer, just call 09065 556677. That's 09065 556677. Calls cost a maximum of £1, with 66p going directly to Comic Relief. The lines are open until midnight on Sunday, and we'll be announcing the winner on Top Gear in 2 weeks' time. And we'll be giving you that number again at the end of the programme. Good luck.
Still to come on Top Gear, 2 eco-warriors from Japan, buying a used 3 Series, Britain's favourite Beamer, and the Top Gear verdict.
It's a fact of modern life. BMWs are absolutely everywhere. Bad news if you want exclusivity, but good news if you're after a bargain, because used prices have taken a tumble.
Britain's favourite Beamer has always been the 3 Series, and none more so than the one which ran from 91 to 98. So take note, because this is how to bag yourself one of the very best from the thousands that are knocking around.
But first, why are they so popular? Well, they're sophisticated, solid as a rock, come with a good dose of refinement, and best of all, you can now pick them up from just $4.5 grand. If you want to have fun, avoid the 318s, which are slow and tend to get overworked. The 328 is a nice idea, but insurance and running costs are going to be steep.
The best compromise is this, the 320. And if you can, go for the engines after 92. They came with variable valve timing, which means you don't have to rev the nuts off of it in order to get anywhere.
The charm of this car lies in its ability to let the driver enjoy themselves. Rear-wheel drive, slick gear change, responsive steering and sorted chassis make it feel a cut above other humdrum saloons.
Power going to the rear wheels means you can enjoy all sorts of thrills and spills once you've actually bought the car. But there are a few things you can watch out for on your more sedate test drive. One is overheating in traffic. That's a sign of a dodgy fan coupling. It's only going to cost 70 or 80 quid to replace, but if you don't, it's going to cost hundreds. Another thing to watch out for is a loud knocking sound by the rear wheels. That's a sign that the rear suspension bushes are spent. Again, it's not going to be expensive to fix, but if you don't, it's going to lead to some very hairy handling indeed. Inside, it's got crisp, functional design, but there are a few goodies. Electric mirrors, electric front windows, tinted glass and front seat height adjusters. The thing to watch out for though is that on the early models the fit of some of the interior panels wasn't great, so have a good poke around. ABS and fog lights also come as standard. Keep an eye out too for the SE versions because they have even more kit. But even the basic spec cars like this one have had metallic paint, alloy wheels and air conditioning added on. So take time to search out the bargains because there are so many to choose from. When it comes to looking after your BMW, avoid those glitzy main dealers and their sky-high prices and come to your local specialist, where the staff have often been trained by BMW themselves and parts and servicing are much cheaper. Take this fog light. From your main dealer, it will cost around 50 quid. Exactly the same piece of kit, made in exactly the same factory, will cost just 20 from your local specialist.
Avoid unloved high-mileage ex-fleet cars, and if possible, get an engineer's report. Or if you're feeling brave, have a look yourself to sniff out any trouble spots.
You really shouldn't worry about the problems too much because they're normally as good as gold. We've always loved their cast iron build quality and revelled in their engines. And now it's time to go mad about their second-hand value.
The Toyota MR2 has been with us for nearly a year now, and I'm a big fan of this sporty little roadster. And now there's a new SMT version with a Formula One style sequential manual transmission. Big lights, a gaping air intake, tiny wheels and gappy arches. There's no change from the original and I love its baby Porsche Boxster looks. OK, on the inside it's more Proton than Porsche, but a cute chrome gear lever and leather seats give it a lift. The SMT hits 60 in 9 seconds, a full second slower than the standard car, thanks to its automatic first gear and slightly sluggish upshifts. But who's worried about a second when you can have as much fun as this? You can either be a Grand Prix driver with buttons on the wheel, down with the thumbs and up with the fingers, or a touring car driver with this short pump-action gear lever. There's a great sounding auto blip on the down change, and you have to change up or the engine just sits on the limiter. This is what sequential gearboxes should be like. The SMT option ups the price from a fiver under 18 grand to 19.5. But that does include the £500 leather upholstery, and it's still nearly 4 grand cheaper than the much vaunted Lotus Elise. It may not quite match the ultimate driving thrills of the Lotus, but it really isn't that far behind. With light steering, a limited slip differential and ABS, it makes for a safe yet very involving drive, and I love it. It's cheaper and more practical than the Elise, with a roof that goes up and down in seconds rather than minutes, and much more fun than the MGF, which provides the only direct opposition with its Steptronic version, which is £1,500 cheaper, but works with an uninspiring, continuously variable transmission. The best sequential manual yet in the best affordable roadster, a groundbreaking 9 out of 10.
When they were designing cars for the future back in the 50s, you wondered where they were coming from.
Dreams come first. And each dreamer sketches on paper the car he sees in his mind's eye. The artist's inspiration? Perhaps a jet fighter. The wing of a bird in flight. Or the eyes of some insect, greatly magnified.
Well, obviously. Anyway, here we are in 2001. Yes, thank you. Outfits like this are not standard issue, well, not in my house anyway. And the future car, as predicted by 100 different sci-fi movies, has simply failed to materialise. Ever had the feeling that you've been cheated?
But the future is a slippery customer, and while you were off trying to book your flight to Mars on the space shuttle, some important things happened.
Yes, hold on tight to your special collector's edition DVD box set of Blake 7. The future is here. The Honda Insight. Wow, this is just like an episode of Tomorrow's World. Just a second. That's better. Now, the Insight is a hybrid, which means that it's very, very clever. Powered by a conventional, though very sophisticated petrol engine, backed up by a battery, it's incredibly economical and has ultra-low emissions.
So as the world goes to pot and floodwaters turn into tidal waves, this could be the answer if it's eco-friendly motoring you're after. But I'm a red-blooded, fully paid-up car enthusiast. I want 450 horsepower and a throbbing great big V8.
I don't want a jumped-up lawnmower. Or do I? Actually, I think the inside is fantastic. Full credit to Honda for trying to make the bitter eco pill easier to swallow by disguising it as a racy two-door coupe. Although some back seats would have been useful. Never mind. We have featured the inside on Top Gear before, so this is the bottom line. My right foot is made of lead, and even I managed to get 65 miles per gallon out of it.
It combines a 1-litre 3-cylinder engine with an electric motor. Integrated Motor Assist it's called. And its 75 bhp is amazingly more than enough to hustle you along.
Check out the display. Forget your PlayStation 2. This is real life, mate, and it's far more enjoyable. The reason being that you have no less than 3 separate economy gauges and you become determined to maximise your fuel economy.
Of course, the future doesn't actually have to look futuristic. Even extraterrestrials would agree that another hybrid now on sale in the UK, the Toyota Prius, is no oil painting.
But that doesn't matter, because the Prius, it means to go before in Latin, although really it should be to go boldly before, if you see where I'm coming from, is arguably even smarter than the Honda Insight. Well, it's got 4 seats for a kick-off, and it gets better.
The Prius only manages 71 bhp from its 1.5-litre engine, but it'll run in full petrol mode, in electric mode only, or in a combination of the two, depending on which is most efficient. In town, the petrol engine shuts down, and you're wafted along electrically.
Which, quite frankly, is pretty creepy. It's so quiet in the Prius that, yes, listen, I can hear the couple in the car in front having an argument. Okay, so it isn't quite as economical as the Insight, but yet a combined fuel economy figure of 57.6 miles per gallon is still little short of sensational. Overall though, well, the driving experience is painless enough. Bland, but painless.
Even the Prius ownership experience is painless. You get a 5-year warranty, a roadside assistance package, and best of all, Toyota guarantees to buy the car back at a good price when you've had enough of saving the planet.
Okay, so they're not particularly sexy. And at £17,000 and £16,500 respectively, they're not exactly a bargain either. But I'll tell you this much, both of these hybrid cars were a damn sight more enjoyable than I ever thought they would be. So, the future is bright after all. Now, if I could only get this thing to hover.
Next week on Top Gear, after Laguna, another cross-channel Mondeo rival, the Citroën C5. And a little later than advertised, Jaguar's Monster XKRR. Finally, here's a reminder of our competition number. If you want to win that fabulous trip to Malaysia and help Comic Relief, just give us a ring and tell us who won the first Malaysian Grand Prix in 1999.